Good evening and thank you for tuning in. Tonight we have President Daniela Lopez and PR Director Lyle Weston here in studio. This is SA Today. Good evening and welcome to SA Today. I'm Topher Lane. The Red Cup Project will hold a design competition this upcoming week. The Red Cup Project was created by Leslie Baz, a fifth-year senior architecture major at Syracuse University. The project's goal is to raise awareness about the environmental effects of littering. According to the group's Twitter page, the winner of the competition will be announced on March 20th and awarded a cash prize. Sexual and Relationship Violence Prevention Coordinator Jill Snyder hosted the hashtag #NotAskingForIt video launch on Monday in the Shine Student Center. This video is a component of the Be Sure campaign and was created by students at Wesleyan University. Several groups, such as the Office of Health Promotion and the Girl Code movement, collaborated with the Not Asking For It video to start a conversation about consent and sexual assault on the SU campus. On January 13th, Karen Rulant was announced the new Dean of College of Arts and Sciences. She will leave her position as the chair of Chemistry Department to fulfill this new role. Rulant is confident that her diverse background has equipped her to bridge the gap between social sciences, the humanities, and the sciences. With a strategic five-step process, Rulant hopes to both engage and maintain relationships with students and alumni. The leader of a Syracuse drug ring is going to be spending the next 6 years in prison. Officials say Angel Rivera is the leader of a group of 19 people who smuggle cocaine and heroin around Syracuse. Rivera was sentenced today after pleading guilty to the felony charge of criminal possession of a controlled substance. This morning, the Firestone Complete Auto Care on Erie Boulevard caught fire. Time Warner Cable News employees were evacuated from their building, which is next door. Flames were extinguished within a 15-minute period. Despite minimal damage, toxic fumes were released, which forced the evacuation. No injuries were reported. 17 miles outside of Cleveland, Ohio, an 11-year-old girl was charged with murder after allegedly beating the 2-month-old she was babysitting to death. The girl in question was ordered to undergo a mental competency exam in juvenile court Monday afternoon. The infant was taken to the hospital where she died during surgery. Boston is getting slammed with snow again. The city has accumulated more than 70 inches of snow over the past 17 days, and more may be on its way later this week. More than 2,000 flights have been canceled due to the snow, and the Boston Transit System suspended all rail service today to clean tracks and repair equipment. A former hospital worker is being charged with first-degree murder in the death of UVA student Hannah Graham. Jesse Matthew Jr. had already been charged with abduction with intent to defile Graham after the girl went missing in September. Her remains were found in October, 8 miles from where she disappeared. The state is not seeking the death penalty for Matthew, but authorities are investigating the possible connection to other disappearances in the area. President Obama is asking Congress for authorization for the use of more military force against ISIS. Obama has already deployed more than 2,000 troops to offer support for Iraqi security forces and conducted airstrikes against Iraq and Syria without congressional authorization. This request comes after the family of an ISIS hostage has announced that they received confirmation that their daughter had died. Kayla Mueller was an American aid worker who was taken captive in August of 2013. ISIS announced that Mueller was killed in a Jordanian airstrike last week. The group sent her family a private message this week confirming her death. U.S. intelligence has confirmed the claim but is still unsure how she died. Joining us today is Student Association Vice President Daniela Lopez with a weekly address. Daniela, good evening.
Everyone, I'm Daniela Lopez, your Student Association Vice President. Last week, Boris and I released the report detailing the success of our administration to the entire student body. That report will soon be available in hard copy at the Student Association office. Students can find the office in the basement of Shine Student Center. Please come talk to us with any questions, concerns, or ideas you may have. Chat and Dine has gotten off to a fast start with the first scheduled meal to take place this week. Last Wednesday, a heat lamp was installed at the College Place bus stop. We expect more to be installed in the next few weeks. Buses will travel to Wegmans and Target on February 22nd, March 22nd, April 12th, and April 26th between 12 and 5 p.m. For other students, our public relations team has launched a blog at Syracuse Student Associations.wordpress.com, and we will launch a newsletter at the end of the month for students as well. We want students to know what Student Association is doing for them. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter at SA@SU for more information. Thank you.
Next, we'll have a recap of the Student Association meeting last night, and I sit down with PR Chair Lyle Weston to talk about new initiatives within SA. Don't go away.
I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. You know, but it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, you know, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Thank you, dear. Well, you're very supple. Just like I was at your age. Back then, I was a sex expert. Used to call me the buttered biscuit. I know about birth control, too. So you can ask me anything, baby.
Bedsider.org has birth control information and a lot more. And it's...
Have you had sex in this car yet?
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
When I get all steamed up, then I shout.
Tip me over and pour me out. Oh.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life.
Cheers.
Take time to be a dad today.
Wow, these are really good.
You act surprised. Practice makes perfect.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
The Student Association passed 2 new bills at its meeting last night and elected 12 new board members. The Medical Amnesty Bill proposes that the university enact a formal policy that allows students who request medical attention for their friends that are under the influence do not get any consequences for being under the influence themselves. The students would complete a drug and alcohol program, but it would not show up on their record. The Transfer Student Integration Act proposes that the university allow transfer students with a GPA from their previous campus of at least a 3.2 to rush fraternities and sororities in their first year. And earlier today, I sat down with the Student Association PR Chair Lyle Weston to talk about the newest SA activities. So, Lyle, the Student Association had a bus charter that students took to Target and Wegmans this past week. Our first question today is, was everybody okay? There was a minor bus accident over that charter, and what happened? Can you describe what happened and how the students were affected?
Sure. First, everyone is okay. There were a couple students on the bus at the time of the accident, but it was just a bumper accident, and the bus didn't have any damage. But the bus did need to stop and fill out a police report, as is part of the policy of the charter company that Office of Student Activities and SA uses. And so some students were left at Target and Wegmans beyond the end time of the program, but the bus did go back afterwards and return them all safely to campus. And so everything turned out okay, and we will continue to use the bus in the future, and they did everything absolutely correctly, and everyone is perfectly safe.
So this accident was due to weather, correct?
It was due to inclement weather. The bus was unable to take the Adams Street Hill past the hospital up to campus, and so was forced to go around. And on Walnut near Washington Arms, it slid into another car.
So is this something you guys might look to in the future, maybe avoid like bad weather days that you might have buses? Will you think about canceling buses in the future because of bad weather, or what is SA going to do?
It's certainly something that will get looked at, but I believe through our third-party contract, it's their call whether we go or not with the buses, and it's their responsibility to run the buses. And so we fund and they run, and that's the way it is, and so we can't really tell them when to run and when not to run.
All right, well, on a completely different note, petitions for next year's president and vice president race are due in 10 days, correct?
Correct.
What types of candidates are you guys looking for, and how can students apply to be the president or vice president, and how do they get into that application process?
Sure. So any student who's interested needs to fill out a form which they can find in the SA office in the basement of Shine, and they need 500 student signatures in order to advance onto the ballot. And that's difficult in itself, and someone who does that is obviously very motivated and very interested and engaged with the Syracuse community. And those are the traits that I think people are looking for in a president. Obviously, Boris has done a great job throughout his term, and he's been engaged and interested, and it shows when you can get those 500 signatures that you're able to handle the job of being president of the Student Association. Great.
And there's a lot, like you said, there's a lot of dedication that comes to doing this. And there's a lot of dedication you guys put into making policies and stuff happen within SA and around the SU community. So something like the nutritional facts, the initiative that you guys just completed, could you talk about that in dining halls?
Sure, that's a great initiative we just completed. And it's about, we put some QR codes on stickers around the dining halls. In working with the dining hall services, they were able to put those QR codes up, and students can go up to them with their phone with a QR code reader in order to get the nutritional facts. But more importantly, they're able to get the big 8 allergens. And so anyone with an allergy can go up to any food in the dining hall and put their phone up and find out if that food is good for them to eat or if they need to keep moving along on the line.
All right, great. And lastly, at last night's meeting, you guys talked about, or actually you worked towards the medical amnesty policy. Could you talk about what that is for our viewers?
Sure. So what happened last night was we passed a resolution to lobby the university to have a medical amnesty policy. And what that means is it protects students who want to call in their friend being drunk. So let's say we're out at a bar, Topher, and you get drunk and I need to call an ambulance for you. Students are fearful that they could get in trouble for being the ones to call in someone's emergency. And so this is a policy that would protect that student who makes the call in and give them the freedom to protect their friend. And there are some provisions in the bill protecting the police officers and the medical alert people who come to the aid, because we don't want people to feel like they have medical amnesty from everything. The medical amnesty is purely for the protection of the student who is doing the act of calling and making sure that their friend is okay.
All right, well, thanks, Lyle. Hopefully we don't find ourselves in this situation, but thank you for being here. Thanks for talking with us. Coming up after the break, there's a big game coming up with SU and Duke. Find out how students are getting ready for the big game. Well, we are going to war with Mother Nature. Syracuse takes snow prisoners. This week has an estimated high of 32 and a low of -6 degrees, not including wind chill. Expect snow Thursday through Saturday. Fortunately, Sunday may provide some relief from this frigid February. Syracuse students are getting ready for the Duke game on Saturday by camping out outside the dome. Students set up tents at Gate E, otherwise known as Bayheimberg, yesterday. The campout was supposed to begin on Sunday at 5, but was postponed 24 hours because of the winter storm. Syracuse fans are also showing support for their team on Twitter. One player in particular is getting a lot of attention in the wake of Syracuse University's self-imposed postseason ban. Rakeem Christmas is a senior, and some Orange fans are not happy that he will not get another chance to win a title. People have taken to Twitter using the hashtag #FreeRack in support of the Veterans Center. Well, I often complain about having to walk to classes in the snow, but some have a different outlook. A man in Alaska was found alive after trying to walk 50 miles between 2 villages in -35-degree temperatures. The man was found 4 miles from his goal and said he always wanted to see if he could make the trip. It took him 15 hours to get there, and he told rescuers he was completely fine when they found him. Well, that's all for the news for now. Thank you for joining us on SA Today. Follow us on Twitter at SA_today and tweet at #AskSA to see your comments addressed on the show. I'm Topher Lane. Have a great night, Syracuse.